coach. I mean, you hit 250 wins. Kyle Collinsworth sets the single-season triple-double record. You get a 5-year contract, Marriott Center upgrades, and you're going to beat St. Mary's tomorrow, so this is the best week ever, right?
Well, that's the most important thing. I can promise you. The other things have been nice, but what we've got on our plate here for Thursday night is a real challenge. This Brad Waldo is he's an amazing player, and the more you watch, one of the most unique players in the NCAA across the country as far as how successful he is at what he does. And he only does a few things, but he is just really, it's really hard to take it away. So that's what we'll have to, that's our challenge tomorrow.
How long have the facility renovations and upgrades been in the works?
Well, I think that the upgrades to the Marriott Center is a separate project, and I haven't really had a lot to do with that. I know that when they came and told me a few years ago they were going to shut down the Marriott Center for the whole summer and put the blue seats on that north side, that was a little bit tough for us because then we had to find a new place for the summer for our guys. But once they were installed and once we saw and felt, what it was going to be like, it was pretty quick when they said, well, we're going to finish the lower bowl. And the scoreboard, I've known for a year or two that we're going to get a new video screen up top. And so, but the Annex project has been probably, for me, something that I knew would be a reality here eventually, probably 4 years. We've talked about it before that, but President Samuelson and I had a long conversation probably about 3.5, 4 years ago that this is what we need, this is what needs to happen. He agreed, and then he kind of set out a plan for the way it could happen, but it's been a long time coming, that's for sure.
Will you have to hang out in the RB a lot this summer? Is that the plan again?
Yeah, I think that
Richards building.
Our camps this summer, I think we're going to put some courts in the IPF. Hopefully we can do that. We did that a few years ago down on the south end. But we'll be able to run everything this summer and do what we need to do because we have data points for that. We've done it before when they shut it down a few years ago but this will be I remember the time crunch years ago for just that side, and now we're doing both ends and the other side, and I think they want to do it between graduations where they try to get at least that was how they did it last time. You have spring graduation and then you have the summer graduation.
May to August?
Yeah.
Is that the timeline?
So it's
3 months. Get all that done.
It's pretty quick, yeah.
Hey, you might as well. Honestly, when I saw you make the announcement yesterday and I looked at your wife, Cheryl, and I talked to her a little bit after, I'm just happy for your stress levels for both of you.
Well, there's a lot of, happiness and joy and all those kind of things, but there's also a lot of relief in this announcement, just the fact that not only the fact that we need it and these players need it, but the speculation with the people that are committed to our program. I mean, when is it going to happen? And because I have believed for 4 years that this is going to happen. And every year, especially Jay Drew seems to be the one that wants to ask me every year 3 or 4 times, when's it going to happen? How's it coming? What's going along? And there's nothing to be said until it's to be announced. And the process is interesting. And someday when somebody feels, like they want to explain the process, the one thing that I do know that you couldn't just get the money committed. The money had to actually be, in the bank, and that was a lot of faith by a lot of people. And,
BYU does it differently.
Yeah, and so, but the one thing good, it's announced, and everybody can rest assured that there's still a few things that we need to do, but you can rest assured that this thing, when it's built, it'll be paid for. So
that's amazing, and that's really unique. What went into the timing of announcing this now?
That would probably be my fault, okay? Because I've been trying to get this announced for a long time. It obviously had to be approved by the Board of Trustees, but once it was approved by the Board of Trustees, I was, in a position to where let's let people know that this is going to happen. It's going to happen, and then the architectures or the architect and the people here on campus they wanted it to be prepared like it was yesterday, where we had drawings, we had and then the other part of it was the Marriott Center renovation. And about 2 months ago, they kind of told me that we're going to kind of bring these projects together, and so it'll take a little bit more time to make this announcement. But I've been kind of sitting on pins and needles for 3 or 4 months. waiting to
Understandably
announce this.
so.
So you
yeah.
wanted to announce this before the season? or to start the season?
At one time, I thought that might be a time frame that we could actually work under, and if you look at it that way, it's not really that big deal. We're only talking about 12 or 13 weeks, but they've been a pretty long 12 or 13 weeks.
And it's a recruiting pitch before November. You want to get that out.
And we're involved with a lot of guys that visit places, especially this time of year. You think recruiting is dead, but a lot of these players take unofficial visits, especially when their high school games are on Thursday or Friday. They'll take a Saturday and go visit college campuses, and you want them to know what you've got in store. And I think that yesterday was a good day for a lot of these players that we're recruiting, just to see what's going to be here if they decide that they want to come.
What kind of direct interaction did you have with former players and acquaintances that have been involved with the BYU basketball program once the news was made official?
I've had a lot of phone calls, a lot of texts. It's great to be able to to reconnect with guys. Craig Cusick came to my office yesterday. Logan Magnuson. I've got a lot of texts just from former guys. Garner Meads, the guy that was so happy for the news, and he's moved back to Utah now, and so those are the kind of the fun parts of an announcement like that. I think that former coaches that have coached here and know how passionate that we've been for this. Coach Wardenberg and Coach Rice are guys, and Walter Ruiz. Those are guys that are all really happy for the announcement, because that has all been the time that we were together. We talked about this a lot and how it was going to happen, how we could make it happen. My interaction during this process was to connect with a lot of players, former players, to help us raise money. And some of them were, capable of actually writing checks for us. Other guys were putting us in touch with guys that they knew that might be interested. And that whole process, with Chad Lewis and Brian Santiago and Tom, I mean, they were just really, really supportive in our kind of our plan. And some people really stepped up, and now we're going to get it done. So,
one person on Twitter at Kip Farns said, "It's the Y, and it's going to be the MCA." YMCA? Is that an option for the name?
Yeah, I probably would not think that would be an option, but but
for the nickname.
But one thing about every building on campus, there's a nickname for every building on campus, and students will probably really jump on something like that because they will like it to have a ring to it, because some of these, you just have to fit it into,
Swicket.
The Swicket.
Spencer W. Kimball Tower.
Yeah. That's
what is that?
But the YMCA, I think, everyone would associate that with some
hoops.
type of, basketball or, physical activity anyways.
It's fun to play at the YMCA.
Okay.
It fits.
All right.
Who got the better coach's office space, you or Jeff Judkins?
There'll be the office suite area is almost exactly the same. It's identical, just like the locker room areas and lounge areas. The guys that are really going to, our strength and conditioning coach is, for men's and women's, we'll have a great area and facility and office space. The training facility is first class and will be. But this will be nice because our office is on the second floor, and we'll look out onto the floor, and that'll be something that is just pretty impressive, and then something that can remind you every minute of every day what we're doing, instead of I'm not going to have a window in my office that faces outside, which I always wanted to have because I never know when it's snowing, But
right now you are buried.
I'm buried in there, and we'll be buried in this one. But at least I'll have the whole space of the facility out there to, and there'll be a lot of satisfaction just knowing that, we're able to get this done, because it's been quite a project.
What went into the decision to do, I guess, you have one full court and then is it 2 halves?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I don't really know how much I'm allowed to say, but there's a space restriction there. Mm-hmm. That's why we looked at so many different places on campus. At one time, we've talked about 4 different spaces to locate this, okay? Mm-hmm. And this has always been my number one choice. In a tough thing, there's so many logistics about putting it there and digging down and all the things that are under the road and how to, the cost and just so many logistical things. But that's where I thought it would be the very best for our players, located right there. And when we got to the point, okay, let's look at this space. What can we actually fit in this space because of the parameters on campus? That's what we came up with. That would be more of a court and a half, maybe 3/4. And then we used the space by putting the main court in the middle and then having space on each side. But the beautiful thing about it is an annex, and we don't lose the Marriott Center floor.
Right.
So we basically have 2 floors and this extra space. And the times that we're out of the Marriott Center, it'll be interesting to work with the 2 programs, but a lot less interesting than it's been the last 10 years.
Nobody's going to be bothering Tyler Haws about whether he has a wristband in the RB, if he can shoot,
You know, Mark Bigelow, one of my favorite players to ever play here, he sent out a tweet yesterday that said, now I'm so happy for the players, the current players, and the players that are coming, the future players, that they won't have to put up with the RB guardians, which I thought was very nice. Yeah.
It's amazing that happened to Tyler Haws. That's a conversation for another day. Did someone tell you about that tweet, or are you secretly on Twitter, Coach?
No, I was whatever they do, they forward it to me.
Yeah.
On my.
Because you told us you're never going to get on Twitter ever.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking now that
What?
maybe there's an option. Maybe.
Is it breaking?
No. I need to study it. Okay, that's what I've actually told my coaches I'll do. I'll look into seeing exactly how limited you could be involved in it, because the fact that everyone can know everything about me, that's not good. But
They'll only know as much as you.
But people have told me that I can kind of monitor that, so maybe I'll actually look into it.
Your son Garrett is a pretty good tweeter.
And Garrett is my guy. Garrett always, he lets me know if stuff's going on out there. And then obviously Tim Lacombe, he watches all the player stuff and lets me know what's going on in that area. And but I still haven't found the part of me that is going to change where I don't want people knowing what I'm doing, and when you're on there, then you kind of you lose that control.
It doesn't have to be Pinterest or Instagram.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tyler Haws, we just found out announced as one of the top 20 Wooden Award finalists. This has been a crazy year in terms of individual stars, with Kyle setting the triple-double record, and then Tyler's most likely going to become the leading scorer all time in program history.
Yeah, and I think that these records that these guys are all involved in are it's interesting because the way our team has kind of formed this year, we've put so much emphasis and responsibility on those guys, and they're and so it in some ways maybe it's a little unfair, but in other ways they've just really stepped up and answered the bell. And when you look at Tyler's ability to go out and score every night, when everyone knows he's our number one option, everyone knows the plays we run for him, everyone knows how we get it and how he does it, and then he still does it. It's very similar to Brad Waldo. I mean, Tyler, I think his game's a lot more diverse than Brad's, but you know what that kid's going to do, and he still does it, and that's what's so impressive about Ty.
Coach, we wish you congratulations on your 5-year contract extension as well. The upgrades. Jeremy and I are hoping that maybe we can work out an agreement where if we come sweep the floor or something when the annex is done.
Mondays at 11
maybe we can get in there late night.
Well, hey, this will be really close. I mean,
the broadcasting annex does.
Absolutely. And when I was involved with a lot of the design, and I didn't have any input, I just listened to all the guys talking about it. It was really interesting to see how they were going to make that tie into both these buildings, the Marriott Center that was built in 71 or 70, and the broadcast building that was built in 2000s, and you're going to make it match. And when you saw the drawings, I think it's an absolutely beautiful building, and it's going to fit perfectly. And it will take a little bit of your baseball throwing, when you guys play catch every day.
Are we still cool to play on your lawn?
But you might be able to come inside every once in a while and
if it's snowing outside.
Play in the gym.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Coach, great to have you with us, and good luck against St. Mary's tomorrow.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.